Okay, I'm going to do an early review of the Jumbo Rocks Campground in Joshua Tree National Park. So we're right here, site 63. It's probably going to be busy tonight because we weren't planning on coming to Joshua Tree, so when we booked yesterday for last night and tonight, a lot of the sites were booked for tonight. But there was a couple that had 2-night availability. So we slept here last night. 63 is not really a good site because it's kind of slopey, and there's really no shade at all. If you're in site 60, let me see, let's walk over here. This is site 64 right next to us, and this is site 62. Now 62 is really nice because you can put your tent. They all have the fire ring. They all have the little grill. Where's that? It's over there. And they all have the big picnic table. There's no shade cover, but site 62 has this rock, and so it's about 1:30 p.m. and you can see the shade that's already here. So by 2:30, if your tent, and it's nice and flat, if your tent was right here, this would be the spot to be because it would be a lot of shade. Now it is September 30th, so it's cooler. It's only like 85 degrees or so, between 85 and 90 degrees in the park. So it's not hot. It's just if you want to get out of the sun, if you want to get out of the heat, there's not really anywhere to go. We do have this big rock formation behind the camp, and it's mainly why I picked site 63 because it was available for 2 nights. And when I clicked on the little picture, it showed these rocks, and I knew the kids would enjoy playing on them. Here's site 64, and the people that were here last night, they had their tent right here in this big open space. So this has got a nice open space for a tent, but again, there's no shade unless you were up against that rock, but it's not really offering any shade, enough shade, and plus it's a little sloped. There is a vault toilet really close to the camp, and then there's parking. There's a parking lot right there, and the parking spaces are really big. They're really big enough for 2 cars to park in there. At this site, there's no cell service, but if you climb up on that rock, I was up there this morning, I was able to use my data. It worked really well up there. So Jumbo Rocks, I would not want to stay in site 63 or 64. 62 is pretty nice because of the shade the rock offers. And then over here, all these sites are reserved, but there's like nobody in them. That's the problem with the national parks reservation system. You have to reserve them, and if anything changes, there's no incentive for you to give up your reservation so that people who want to camp. But here we are at the vault toilet. This is site 65. If you were at the vault toilet, you know, and it's so quiet here at night that just walking on this gravel makes a lot of noise. So this is site 65. Site 67 or 66. 65, 66. Where is 66? 66 is behind here. Oh man, this is terrible. This is a terrible layout. So if you got 65, if you reserve site 65, not only are you going to have the toilet in your campsite, but people that come into 66, which 66 is actually pretty nice. If you got a small 3-man, 4-man tent, they got a nice little spot here. Or there's an open space here with site 67, and a nice little shady spot here. Yeah, 65 is a crappy site, man. And that's probably one of the major downsides to Jumbo Rocks And this isn't the only campground that we've stayed in. It's our first time to Joshua Tree. The downside to Jumbo Rocks, at least where we're at, is that the campsites are super close together. There's really no privacy, and the noise, the biggest noise last night, because you know, there were some people over there that were kind of loud until about 10 o'clock last night, and that's okay. I mean, we're camping, right? So, but everybody kind of quieted down around 10 o'clock, so it was really nice. The one noise above all, there's coyotes, but even bigger than the coyotes, these people had an air mattress, and the guy that was camping over there against the rock had an air mattress, and every time they would shift on their air mattress, it was that noise of, you know, like moving on your air mattress noise was the loudest noise out here, and it was very disruptive. You have to have earplugs out here. You have to have earplugs, and then if you get up early like I do, like I got up at 5:30 and wanted to have coffee, just walking around on this gravel, it sounds like it's just, the noise level is just like a 10 level, and you feel almost guilty for making so much noise. And then the same thing when I ran my gas stove. It was so loud, boiling the water, and my kettle wasn't even whistling, it was just vibrating the kettle. It seemed so loud. Here's Site 61 across the street, so our campsites are over there. Site 61 is a little more isolated, but there's no shade at all. You're well away from the rock walls. So yeah, so here's Jumbo Rocks. But there's lots of rocks. You can see my kids. My kids are up there running on top of the rocks right now, playing. And there's lots of rock formations. They do have dumpsters. There's a dumpster there. You see it, dumpster there. They do have recycled dumpsters. There's a bunch of the vault toilets, and then the trailhead for Skull Rock is just right there in this campground. All right, so yeah, if you want a little bit of feedback on Jumbo Rocks campground, there you go. Sites 61 through 67. I just did a walk through 61 through 67.